Welcome back. I am Tacobowler Gaming, and this is another timeline episode. This one is for my Three Mountains achievement run as Ryukyu. I did do this run on stream for the League of Average Gaming on Twitch. So if you if you're watching this on the Tacobowler Gaming channel, you can go down in the description. You'll see that the Discord is the League of Average Gaming that I am a part of. I am one of the members of the league, and so this was done on their Twitch stream in the 1.28 update. So this was the Golden Century DLC, and so this was pre-Manchu. So the Ming mandate worked a little bit differently than it does right now. But this was post-Dharma. So the general strategy that I used was to create the shogunate Ryukyu. And this was a strategy, I forget exactly who did it first or even who I first heard it from. But you're going to try and enforce peace on Hosokawa whenever they go to war with someone. So you need to be improving relations with someone around Hosokawa. You're going to enforce peace on them, take at least Setsu, preferably Tosa and Awa as well, and then make a claim on Kyoto. You're then going to wait for Kyoto to declare war on you. Ming, being your overlord as a tributary of Ming, will defend you, and then you're up to the RNG gods. If the RNG is on your side, Ming will be able to land on Japan with all their troops. They will, if you can get onto Kyoto right before Ming gets over there, they will help you siege Kyoto down and actually be occupied by you. Sometimes I had a bit of a problem with Ming transferring it to me. If it was just Ming that sieged it down, I kind of had to make sure that I was ready to get there first without dying from the vassal swarm of Ashikaga. If you can do that, then right before you peace out with Ashikaga to take Kyoto, you go to the government upgrades button. I forget exactly what the term is. Government reforms, that's the term. You go to the government reforms, and in the first tab, you can become a independent dynamo. It costs you 10 corruption to switch to that, but you become an independent dynamo, and then you immediately can take Kyoto in the peace deal, and all of a sudden, you become shogun. And all of this, except for Ashikaga, becomes your vassal. And the shogun mechanic is very, very nice. You can create a vassal. Anyone you vassalize in war or release as a vassal, anyone, anywhere in the world, becomes a dynamo. And they don't count against your relation limit unless you have another relation with them, like a royal marriage. And they can declare war against each other. And if they do, you can make them commit subaku, I don't know how to pronounce that exactly, and you get like monarch power from them. And so when you have an entire world of these things, if you have, however many I wound up with, like 30, 40, 50 of these dynamos, that's a lot of monarch power for free. Well, for a little bit of liberty desire, but they don't add. It's just like the HRE revoked privilege. They don't additively collect liberty desire, so generally even that is nothing. And so it's crazy, and you get like crazy amounts of vassal swarming other nations. But we're going to go ahead and start, and so this is going to be a little bit difficult to follow because it's not, my tag growing. So just kind of watch for nations to fall apart, particularly like a Ming or some of these nations down here, to just kind of fall apart. Some of them I took as pure vassal, but otherwise I would like conquer it and then release it as I went. So let's go ahead. We're going to go a little bit fast as I did this here. Now, the first move, obviously, is to enforce peace on Hosokawa, which I just did right there. Took those 4. And then as soon as I take Kyoto, then I will be the shogun. This took me several restarts, probably about 15 restarts, but I am now Shogunate Ryukyu. And so all of these guys are my vassals. I began to attack on down. I would colonize down here. Just kind of try and keep Ming happy, and also kind of build my power base for when Ming becomes unhappy and I have to attack them. Now, Ming did grow a little bit, which was annoying, but they didn't go completely imperialist Ming, which was very helpful in my eventual wars with them. And again, this was in the Golden Century. This was pre-Manchu, so I had to get a lot of development independent on their border. And so that was important. You can see I've taken a little bit of Korea here. I think I vassalized Janzhou. I kind of vassalized some of these hordes up here. I would vassalize all of this, I think, before I attacked Ming. I also took some of this land down here, did a lot of the Philippines, took a lot of this land, just kind of trying to build a power base before Ming decided that they didn't want to be friends anymore. The goal in my world conquests, of course, would be to build up a little bit of fronts to try and have, okay, we'd have an Asian front and we'd have an Indian front and maybe an African front, and do all of that by 1647 or 1687, where I wanted to have roughly 4,000 to 5,000 development. I came in right about the right development, but I failed really to get much ground on a lot of other fronts. I struggled with manpower for most of the game because it was all vassals and it wasn't that much of my own land. So that was something that was kind of important. You can see I have begun to grow up here. Korchin was my vassal. I think Mongolia was my vassal, but Oryat was not. We kind of grow. Russia does grow on its own all the way out here, and we have to deal with Russia a lot at the end, quite annoyingly. But Ming begins to fall apart, and Mongolia here is taking part of Ming. This is my first wars against Ming. Ultimately, they would be successful, and Ming would fall. And most of the development I had before 1687 was taking over all of Ming. I had a little bit of this. Kutai was mine. We began to, of course, face Castile. This became all mine. But it was annoying how little I had here. So you'll notice that I'm releasing vassals. Yarkland was not my vassal, but Dali, I'm going to release, kind of just one little vassal, and then I will be declaring war against Ming. Here's another one. Here's another one. And I will declare war against Ming for reconquest when I have like 5 vassals or something like that. And then they all, I can take a ton of development. So the next war against Ming will be reconquest, and all of these vassals have all their cores, and I will return them. Yan, Qi, Jin, Shu, Yi, Dali, Min, Ning, Yu. They all have cores. I think actually I took even more nations here. They all have cores, and that's how I really did it, was Reconquest CB and just crazy amounts there. I kind of started, I think I had Cyber that became a vassal. There we go. You can see the massive amounts of land I got in one war. Bashrika was a vassal that I got by diplomacy. Cyber, or Sibir, probably Cyber because Siberia, was another one that I got by diplomacy. That was something a little bit later that happened more often. I finally have started to get over here. I created Emirna just so I didn't have to deal with Madagascar, but I finally started to get over here. My ideas in this one were to take expansion, as well as a few other ones like diplomatic and influence and administrative. I think I took administrative. But I took expansion and not exploration, and then I just stole maps rather than taking exploration and having only the one colonist and having to have that as a thing. Now you'll notice that the big nations begin to fall apart. Same general strategy as the Ming, just release a bunch of vassals from within them. But I had a major problem in this game, and that was that the United Kingdom, Great Britain, fell under a PU to Russia. So what I will do here, and you'll notice that Russia falls apart very quickly. I truce broke with Russia like 3 or 4 times in a row. And my goal was to leave all the forts, but to full annex Russia at some point without ever having to land on the British Isles. And once I full annexed Russia, hopefully their PU subject would fall to me. Didn't ultimately happen, though, and I was forced to attack England by landing here. Classic naval invasion of England. I had like 120 galleys here and 120 galleys over here, and landing 200 troops across the Isles while my galleys were being destroyed by the British fleet. They just weren't fast enough. That's how I got across over here. But England fell pretty quickly after that, and this is what the map looks like. If we switch back over here, you'll notice that Ryukyu is the only tag in the game. It's over 30,000 development. Our own development is only 2,014 out of 30,000. But still, I have only a couple of really high development provinces that are really high Liberty Desire. Everything else is fine, and you can see diverting trade from a few of those is the reasoning. All of these are vassals, and it's just crazy. This strategy is crazy and amazing, and I love it. This balance is here. Probably trade hasn't updated, I'm guessing, but pretty high balance and everything like that, and still 0 of 8 diplomatic relations. So that's kind of what we have there. You can see the diplomacy menu, and of course, being Confucian, I tried to switch, or Shinto, I tried to switch to a Christian religion to try and get some PUs myself, and it just didn't work. I couldn't make it. I couldn't make the Catholics siege down enough, and all my vassals would come in and save me from the rebels, and so it just didn't work. So I wound up being Shinto the whole game, which was fine. The ideas I took, let's see what they actually were. All right, so I took influence first and then expansion. And then I took quantity because I needed an army. Administrative to go with the influence, and that's when I began annexing a few of these small tags. Innovative, diplomatic, offensive, and finally was going on humanist at the end of the game, just to try and get a little bit more rebellion decreasing, and we have minus 8.5 at this point. Very fun game for me. Ryukyu is not for the faint of heart. It is a lot of RNG at the beginning, and I think after the Manchu update, it is even harder because you have yet another thing that has to go right, and that is that Oryat can't kill or capture the Ming Emperor. And you can't have that war between Oryat and Ming going on when Ashikaga attacks you. So it's one more thing that has to go right. But boy, when it goes right, all of a sudden you have all of Japan in 1450, and you're well on your way. And I think in the Manchu update, if you can get that start, then it's a little easier because Ming will fall apart more often, and maybe I could have gotten over here and maybe even gotten it a little bit quicker. I didn't like all of the truce breaking, but with the ability to do Saboku, whatever that is, oh, that's a colony. With the ability to do Saboku, 5 times their new rulers, monarchs, skills, and monarch power, I had admin, crazy amounts of admin to do that truce breaking. So it wasn't really that big a deal, and in fact you can see I still have 3 stability and no war exhaustion in spite of it all. So very fun game, and one I'm very proud of. An achievement that is difficult, though I think it's a little bit easier now after the shogunate strategy was discovered. I do think that doing a true one tag, even with the Ottomans, is harder. than doing a world conquest as Ryukyu with the shogunate and all those vassals. But still, this is quite fun. I was very proud of this, and I hope you have enjoyed reliving that or living it for the first time if you didn't watch it on stream. But I have been Tacobowler Gaming, and please do like, comment, and subscribe to whatever channel you're watching this on, as this is being posted to both my own channel as well as the League of Average Gaming's channel. And I will see you next time.